Hello, and welcome to Variable Overview. And today we are going to look at the lower quadrant. That is, we're going to look at the lower right-hand four variables. And these are the variables that all have in common one thing. They have a right brain, they have a right mind. And they're very much a part of the future. And perhaps they are the most disadvantaged in that sense of all children that are entering into this plane at this time. We live in a world, unfortunately, that is addicted to the strategic. It sees the strategic as the only way to be able to operate. This is something that was inherited from our seven-centered ancestors. The fact is that the world still operates in a deeply strategic, left-oriented way. The way we are trained, the way we are schooled, the way we are occupied in the way in which we do our work, the way in which we need to operate on the material plane, the whole mechanism of how we survive on this earth has all been conditioned by leftness and by strategies. The fact is that if you are a right-brained, right-mind being, that is the furthest thing from what is a skill for you. It is not about your mind being under pressure to figure out how things work, to figure out how to do this or that or the other thing in order to provide for yourself, your loved ones, or your future. It is not the point. To be right-brained, to be right-minded means that truly you are here to absorb. And that means that in order for you to function correctly on this plane, that what you do in this life is something that can only emerge out of the mechanics of your design. You know, for those that are right, there is nothing more important than what human design brings you as a fundamental basic tool that is your strategy and authority. It's almost comical when you think about it, that word strategy as it's applied here. And yet for the right being, for those that are right-minded and right-brained, they are not capable of, from the mental plane, devising strategies that are truly going to work for them. As a matter of fact, they are the best example of why the mind has no place in making decisions for you in this life. It is not about that. And it's also very important to understand something. Only a strategic mind is concerned about what it does. To be a right being, to be right-brained and right-minded, the only thing that's important about what you do is that you have entered into it correctly. It does not matter what it is, as long as you've entered into it correctly, because it lays the foundation of activity that is going to provide for you, while at the same time freeing your mind, freeing you to take in as is correct for someone that is right, freeing you to take in with the full periphery that is possible for you. The receptive mind is an extraordinary thing, and the receptive mind coupled with the receptive brain is really the future. You know, whatever we have done up to now in our civilization, all of the information, all of the data, all of the knowledge, that strategically we have tried to figure out ways to keep that data available and stored. But these are artificial. The true storage for the future is natural, and that those that are capable of storing what we will need for the future, what we will need now and for the future, are those that are right. Here lies the great well. Here is the depth. Here is the profundity that ultimately is available for those that will know that it's there, that will be able to approach them. To be right is to understand that you are here to be of service. But it also means that more than anything else, you have to be deeply aware of who is in your life. Operate correctly, operate according to your strategy and authority, and free your mind to do its work, and free yourself from having to decide who and what belongs in your life. Hello, and welcome to Variable Overview. And today we're going to look at the extreme of leftness. You know, it's interesting to note that there are two extremes in the variable grid. The far upper left, where you have everything being left. That is, all four arrows are pointed left. And if you move down to the lower right-hand corner of the variable grid, you'll see that all those aspects in that corner are all right. This is the evolutionary movement. The movement from the far, far left all the way over to the right. It's where we are going. We come from a predecessor, an ancestor, the seven-centered being that was only and specifically left-oriented, strategic in nature. And we are moving towards a future that is going to be all right. That is a future that after 2027 will be the emergence of true rays, and they will be all right beings. So we're dealing with an evolutionary movement. We, the nine-centered being, what I refer to as Homo sapien in transitus, that we are a transitional form. And as a transitional form, we carry within us both the left and the right, from one extreme to the other, and everything in between, as you will see. So when we are looking at this upper left-hand corner, we are looking at these unique individuals. They are the only individuals who carry this variable. If you look at all the other variables, they are the only ones that carry no rightness whatsoever. Every single one of the other 15 variables carry some aspect, at least one aspect of what it is to be right. This upper left is pure leftness. These are the pure, strategic, active, focused beings that are really here to find their essence, and their essence is all in their focus. No, much more in that sense than any other left being is the deep need in this variable to find that focus in life that is truly going to fulfill you. And again, as always in human design, there is only one way to get there. It's not about thinking about it. It's not about deciding mentally that you should get there. It's about recognizing that the perfection of what you are, the perfection of being so strategic, so active, is to grasp something. It's in your strategy and authority. It is the only thing that will guide you specifically to that fine focus that will determine not just simply who you are, but the fulfillment of your purpose on this plane. And more than that, in being the continuity, the direct continuity to the leftness of the past, that this is a new and mutated strategic capacity, something deeply that we need. Without strategy, as you can see in strategy and authority, we have no way of operating correctly on this plane. To be all left is to be deeply, deeply connected to your strategy in this life. Honor that, and you will be able to fulfill your purpose on this plane and truly be of value to others. Hello and welcome to the Variable Overview, and today we come to the close of these overviews of variable, and we come to the future. We come to the pure essence of our evolutionary direction. That evolutionary direction, and you can see it so clearly in the grid as you move from the past, the all left in the upper left-hand corner, to the future, the all right in the lower right-hand corner. This is where we are going. And when I say this is where we are going, you have to grasp this in two different ways. If you're somebody that is all right now, you know, this is not about you being what this is leading to, because what it's leading to is something that is totally alien to what you are. The all right future that variable points to has to do with a mutation that is a species that is going to emerge out of us. We, Homo sapien intransitus, we are an interregnum. We are a midwife. We are here to give birth to the future, and the future is the rave. And yet, To understand the rave as a human being is not to want particularly to embrace it or to want that for yourself. That is, the rave will not have what we have, which is an identity that yearns to be defined and display its unique, differentiated potential. The all right is here to be a part of a larger consciousness field, a consciousness field in which its unique nature is lost and in which it gives up of itself to a larger consciousness, that is the penta, the conscious penta, that lies in the future beyond 2027. If you're living today with all rightness, you're living it within a human context, but it still leads us into a brand new direction. It is a whole new way of taking in life and of living life. You know, one of the ironies of strategy and authority, the great tool of human design, is that it is in its perfection when it is applied to those that are right, and it is the ultimate advantage and tool for those that are all right. Those four arrows pointed right point to a being that has no natural strategic skills, and that the only strategic skills that they have are those that have been conditioned. And yet the all right being is an enormous resource and deeply creative. They're here to have a creative life. They're here to be able to express themselves in a deeply creative way. And yet they cannot find that for themselves. They cannot go looking for that themselves. They are not strategic. It is something that has to come to them, and that they have to be able to recognize it. Most beings who are all right are deeply distorted by the way in which they have been raised and conditioned, the way in which they have been schooled, the way in which they have been given an inferiority complex about the nature of their mental skills and their abilities. The reality is that they are deeply special human beings that are here to provide a deep resource of creativity. But the key for them is strategy and authority. Without that, they have no way of navigating on this plane. Without that, they are caught in a life where they are always trying to be something that they are not, trying to control their destiny in a way that they cannot. They are here in the flow of the great river. They are here to wait. They are here to wait for those things that will come to them, that will tap into their resources and allow them to fulfill their potential on this plane. If you are all right, there is only one thing that will help you now, and that is to honor your strategy and authority.